Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from DeltaCX.com. We're a full service CX and UX consultancy, and welcome to February 11, 2022's reaction stream. This is where on a Friday we blow off some steam and I take a look at some things that you've sent in. They're usually terrible, sometimes they're not so bad. We'll take a look. Of course, first of all, I want to make sure, there's I-10's helicopters, and hello, Kayla. Want to make sure that we're thanking the people who are giving to the YouTube channel, which is totally optional, but always appreciated. So thank you to everybody who is a member at any level here on the YouTube channel. And if you want to donate a little bit, again, optional but appreciated, you can do that by hitting join on the YouTube channel. And of course, please subscribe. Hey, Madalena, it's a hectic week and you've been waiting for this. Well, I've got a lot of stuff, so we might run a little bit late today. What else was I going to tell you? Oh, I'm also playing with a new feature. Let's take a look at how it looks, because I can only see this when it's live. So what do you think? It will put your messages on the screen for 60 seconds and then zip them off. Playing with that for when I don't do the whole sidebar thing. Do we like it? Do we not like it? Let me know. So we've got a lot of stuff to look through today for reaction stream. I think we have maybe 7 things. So we should jump right in, and I will turn off this new thing because we'll have the sidebar version. So let's jump over to one of my private browsers and jump over. All right, there we go. So we've got the chat room, the tip jar, the me, and everything else. All right, so the first thing I got was, have I talked about, and I apologize, I might pronounce this person's name wrong, Aona? I really don't know. Do I know anything about her, and do I like her? At a previous reaction stream, somebody sent one of her videos, and I did watch it. I think it was like 9 steps to UX research. I think it was 9 somethings. I-10 says, oh, this girl again. Yeah, so I only watched one of her videos. And does it say how many videos she has? Because is it like 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 2 million? Yeah, YouTube doesn't tell you how many, even I'm not sure how many videos I have. So, oops, stop. Don't want to get copy strike. Madalena says, does she work at Google, or am I confusing her? I think she works at Google, or at least when I last checked her, her last video she did, but I can't tell you anything about her. I've seen one video. I thought her one video was pretty good. One thing that you should look out for is, and again, look out for, this is not a terrible thing, but one thing to look out for is she is heavily monetizing absolutely everything. So, she's got affiliate links and sponsorships and paid career coaching, which I think we talked about last time. So for example, if you want a 30-minute chat with her, it is $156. Now, of course, this can be compared to a 30-minute chat with me, which some of you have had for free and some of you have had for $50. So obviously, if for some reason you feel that she's worth that, then you should pay that. But I do think that is a bit of a high number, knowing how many things are pulling at the wallets of all of you looking to get into UX or improve. So I would just say, if you like her videos and you feel there's quality there, then that's great. Just be careful of all of that monetization. I don't monetize all my stuff because I have a day job and I've decided that pays me enough and I don't have to take money from you. Kayla says she has 39 videos. That seems like very few. It looks like she just started about a year ago. Yeah. So anyway, I have a mostly, I don't know, opinion on her because I've only seen one video. I don't even remember which one it was. It was like mistakes researchers tend to make, or now I'm not even seeing it, so I don't know what happened there. But anyway, that's my opinion is, I don't love all the people who are monetizing the hell out of everything, but I understand that people want to make money, and that's how you do it. So that's all I'll say there. Next, someone sent me this tweet, and I'm in a private browser, so I'm getting all the logins and pop-ups. Hi, Charlene, we've missed you. Have you been? Hi, Jurgen. So someone sent me this tweet from someone I don't know, and her tweet says, free markets are more effective at improving the UX of software than so-called UX research. Fight me. Now, there's a few things that I noticed there, and one of them is anyone who says fight me, to me, is definitely someone to stay away from, because I don't think that we need to necessarily take a combative approach to things. I also feel that she's essentially saying, you can't change my mind. And if there's one thing I learned about from growing up in a family of lawyers, it's you never want to have a discussion, debate, or argument with someone who does not want to change their mind. I-10 said nobody fought her and she got 4 likes. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, I noticed that too. So yeah, nobody wanted to write her back, and so on. Madalena says, does free market mean just ship it? I can't really say, but I think that this is highly fallible and easily fought, though that doesn't mean we would necessarily change her mind, because I don't know, how much of a critical thinker she is. But I would say when we think about free markets and the UX of software, then, let's put on our critical thinking hats. Let's ask opposite and converse questions. Does that mean that if the UX of something like Facebook is full of evil and dark patterns and tricks and things to get you addicted, that's good because the free market hasn't wrangled that yet? That if Facebook were bad, the free market would have controlled that. So I'll give you a little background. Story time, everybody. Pour yourself a cup of tea. When I was growing up, I was not very good friends with my biological parents, which is why you pretty much never hear me talk about them. They were some seriously flawed people. Let's just put it that way. But I remember my biological father saying to me one day, and this is a bit of a strange story, so I hope it doesn't upset anybody along the way. Hi, Brian. Madalena says, no one finishes an online argument with "you're right, you've made me change my mind." Yeah, that's so true. One day, and this was many decades ago, there was a man on TV playing guitar for the then Pope. And this man had no arms and was playing the guitar with his feet. And my biological father turns to me and he says, it's people like this that make me hate Milton Friedman, the economist. Now, I don't know anything about economics. And I turned back to him and I said, I'm going to need you to bridge those two ideas because I don't know what you're talking about. And that's when he told me about Milton Friedman and the whole free market approach to things. And he told me that the reason why he drew that connection was that to him, there was a possibility that this young man was missing arms because of a birth defect, and that the birth defect might have come from a period of time in, I think, the 60s when women were taking some drug. Does anybody remember this crazy story or this strange story? And women were taking some drug or prescription medicine, and people were like, should women really take this, especially when they're pregnant? And Milton Friedman was like, let the free market decide. And of course, while the free market was deciding, people were being hurt by the effects of this medication. I know I'm telling this story very badly. Someone will Google this and someone will get this right. I'm telling it very badly, but my point was, my biological father brought together these concepts and said, like, these, he was seeing the possible outcomes of possible outcomes of possible outcomes. And Jurgen says, I remember this too. And Madalena says, yeah, side effect reporting was rubbish in those days. Yeah, and Milton Friedman, the economist, was like, let the free market decide. If women don't really want this, they'll stop buying it, and that'll be the free market. And I had a similar fight with a now ex-friend a few years ago who was trying to tell me that genetically modified food was nothing but good. Everything was good about it. All you hear are good things about it. It's the best. And I said, well, it's not the best. I said, and there's a lot of negative articles about it, and there are many regions and countries who have banned genetically modified seeds and crops and foods. And here's stories I found of countries that tried GMOs and then went back to regular seeds. And he's like, well, we should let the free market decide. And I said, how can the free market decide? We don't give people enough information about GMOs. We just give them the pro-GMO propaganda, and there's more information here. Jurgen says, Kayleen Lee, it was against morning sickness or something pregnancy related. Oh, Kayleen says thalidomide. Thank you, Kayleen. That's totally it. Thank you. I'm like, where's Kayleen when you need her? But I didn't want to say it out loud because I don't want her to feel pressured to show up and be my research assistant live on the air. Anyway, that's how I feel about free markets, partially from my own critical thinking and partially from early lessons my biological father taught me when I was quite young, because I assume if someone manages to look up when did that guy play guitar for the Pope, I was probably 10 or 11. So that was a very long ago conversation. So, Kayla, you're wrong. Fight you? No thanks. Okay, next. Somebody sent me one of these pseudo bootcampy things. Oh, Brian says, did Walt mention that on his class in Breaking Bad? I didn't see Breaking Bad because I don't watch TV shows where negativity occurs. So, other than a couple of Marvel movies. So, don't know. So, someone sent me UXL. And of course, as usual, you know how I judge these things. What are we teaching? How are we teaching them? Who's teaching them? And are you getting any support or work reviews and things like that? So I tried to click around here, but there really wasn't very far I could get without being a paid member. So I went to UX Design Foundations, and I found that their level 1 was visual design. Level 2 was still visual or branding design, in my opinion. Jurgen says, I like the idea of a 10-year-old Debbie saying, you're going to have to bridge those two ideas for me, Dad. I said that a lot. Another famous thing my biological father once said to me was, you know Raymond Burr is the killer from the beginning of the movie. That's why it's called Rear Window. And I hadn't seen Rear Window, and I said, you're going to have to bridge those two ideas for me because I haven't seen Rear Window. And he goes, oh yeah, you watch the killings happen through a window. And I was like, okay, thanks. So anyway, as usual, this is one of these online schools where I can't tell if anything here is of any value. It looks like a lot of things here are just other people's reused content. So I think that's shameful for you to have to pay for when, does Brad Frost make any money when you pay UXL? Does Jakob Nielsen make any money when you pay these guys? That's not cool. Y'all know how I feel about theft and plagiarism. And so, no, this doesn't look very good to me. And I couldn't even tell what any of this was. Design Principles Theory. I can't click on it because it's not unlocked because I haven't signed up or paid. So, no, there's no way that I can recommend this. Who is the instructor? Unknown. I actually looked up the UXL guys on LinkedIn, and let's just say I wasn't impressed with their backgrounds, so this would be a no from me. Madalena says, are those units literally shorter than 10 minutes per piece? Boy, do I love a critical thinker. Yes. Evidently, the theory of design principles is 6 minutes long. That's all you're going to... My show's already 15 minutes long today, and in just a third of that, third and a half of that time, you could learn all about design principles. So, yeah, I agree with Madalena as well. This looks like an incredibly skating on the surface Universe, you can have a certificate, but you know what? Do not care because I don't hire people for their certificates. Y'all know I hire people for your proficiency, skill, personality traits, and critical thinking. Grace says, what do you think about Springboard? Not much, Grace. There isn't a single UX program out there that I feel good about other than curiositytank.com, which of course, as always, is not sponsored. I do not make any money from these recommendations. So Springboard is also a no. Brian says, sweet, I can learn atomic design in 3 minutes. Yep. Kayla says, broad but not deep. I'm not even sure it's broad, Kayla. I mean, Intro to Shadows? Oh, what? You know, step 1, press the shadow button on your design tool. I don't know. You know I'm not an artist. All right, let's move on. So this got sent to me, and this is some guy's YouTube video. Have you ever noticed how everybody has exactly 10,500 subscribers? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I can't help but wonder. You know, I can't prove who's bought followers and who's bought likes, but it's just so strange that every time I look at some of these YouTubers, they have exactly 10,500 subscribers. It's so strange. Hey, Seth is here. So good to see Seth. Looks like I wasted 20 years when I could have learned this in 6 minutes. So true, Seth. What did you and I ever do? So this is some guy called Andres the Designer, and he says you are going to teach yourself UX design. Now get this, without a boot camp and without a course. So you are magically going to teach yourself UX without taking a course and without taking a boot camp. Now, I know that many people do like to try to learn UX themselves and be self-taught, and I think there's some value to that. Though y'all know I think you should get a mentor or coach who's going to check your work as you get into starting to do work. But how are you going to learn UX design without a boot camp or a course? Let's see. Informational interviews with product designers. And again, I tried to watch this. I got about 2 minutes in, as you could see, and then I just couldn't take it anymore. So I could not make it through a 9-minute video. If any of you would like to give him the ad revenue, you can watch it. Learn what a good UX design portfolio looks like. Okay, so evidently we're going to talk to UX designers, and then we're going to make a portfolio. Start a project of your own. Learn a design tool. Find design resources. I can assume this is templates. Publish your work, keep going, and of course, his free PDF. Now, would you like to book a mentorship call with him? Let's play the game, everybody. How much does he charge for a mentorship call? What do you think? What do you think? I can't even guess anymore. I'm going to guess $100 for, $35 for a half hour. That's less than me. So maybe you want to talk to Andres. But do you want to talk to Andres? Because we found him on LinkedIn. So here's Andres, friendly face. I don't know him at all. And let's take a look at his background. Let's start bottom up. So bottom up, he has a bachelor's degree from San Jose State in information systems, which could be a variety of things. Sometimes that's IT, sometimes that's library science, so I'm never too sure. He was a business analyst at Kaiser as an intern for 1.5 years. He was a business analyst at something called Odoo, which sounds bad, but could have been good. For about 1 year. So this guy so far through 2018, almost start of the pandemic, is a business analyst. Then he moves over to whatever is Compensia as a compensation analyst, analyzing compensation data, which I know is an important job, but is still not UX. Madalena says, did I see business analyst? Yep. And now compensation analyst into the pandemic. So remember he left Compensia in June 2020, and I'm recording this in February 2022. That's less than 2 years ago. And then all of a sudden, he's the founder of a product design studio. Amazing. Unbelievable. So sure, for $35, you can talk to Andres, who's been evidently doing this for 2 years, and I guess taught himself, because I'm sure he ate his own dog food and didn't take an online course and didn't read a book and didn't go to a boot camp, right? Jurgen's like, okay. Yeah, so this would be somebody I would recommend against. I am not sure this is somebody you necessarily want to learn from, and I'm not sure this is advice that's going to help you be job ready. That's my standard. My standard is anybody giving you advice that will make you job ready if they're talking about learning and getting into the industry. If this advice doesn't make you job ready, then it's not worth the penny he got paid for the ad. And of course, he recommends this template for reaching out to people on LinkedIn so that you can grow your network and whatever. And obviously, when I get these, I have to say, they just don't land well for me. There's something very strange. I do get some of these sometimes. I do get like, hi, I'm super impressed about your career, and I'd love to learn how you started in UX. And I'm thinking, are you sure? And is that going to be relevant for you? Because I started in 1995. And even if you follow my LinkedIn back to when LinkedIn starts, I think my LinkedIn starts 2012. Chances are whatever I did to get into UX in 2012 is not relevant now. And so I definitely see things that I think came from these recommended templates, like, oh, reach out to people and blah, blah, blah. And, I get some very strange questions that make me think it's a template. I would much rather see thoughtful questions. Hey, I went through your LinkedIn and I was curious, when you worked at this, what was it like? I know I'll find time to answer that, but I think it's so much better than I'm looking to expand my career, or I want to learn more about your experience. That's just me personally. I think we're networking when we make a personal connection, and we're not networking when we just send people a template. Udipta says, a true self-taught UX person. That's right. UX is so easy. You can teach yourself without knowing it to begin with. Now I feel like a Ryan George video. Madalena says, oh gosh, is it just me, or the pandemic observed an absolute explosion of all types of substandard UX resources, courses, and boot camps? Yeah, and YouTubers. Kayla says, when I think self-taught, I think of lots of books and courses, not this. I agree, Kayla. I think if you're going to be self-taught, you've got to read some of our classic books. Hopefully you're going to learn from my free YouTube channel, and then hopefully there's some other good resources you can find as well. So I agree. All right, let's move on from this failure pile in a sadness bowl, as Patton Oswalt says. Except he says it about Kentucky Fried Chicken food, or KFC to you young people. So this is a guy I don't know him, never heard of him, but there you go. He says, it's one of the conundrums of business. Retail customers lie to you about their wants, desires, and needs. You can only truly trust what they do. I thought this was interesting, and I thought this was so interesting that I'm adding it to the new Transforming Toward Customer Centricity workshop I'm working on, and I want everybody to go tell your manager to sign up for that, because I'm going to be premiering the 4-hour workshop version at Interaction 22. So look up Interaction 22, go to the workshops, and you can be the first to see my brand new content. Some of it's old if you've been watching the channel here, but a lot of it's new. I'm writing so much new stuff that it hurts. But this tweet's going to make it in there, because I think there's something for us to think about here. Aitan says, I don't like when people say lie. It's not like they do it on purpose. They're not like, hey, let's trick this researcher. And Madalena says, exactly. Yeah, so the way that I see this is, I would agree that we should mostly trust what customers and potential customers and target users do over what they say. I agree with that, but I don't think people lie to us. I think we get bad answers and information out of them when we do bad research. If you are doing the type of research says, hey, would you like it if we had a cup that you could drink water out of, which would help you be hydrated? You're going to be like, yeah. And then you're thinking of whatever is like the best cup you could imagine. But everybody who says yeah is imagining a different cup. And if I go, ta-da, we made you the cup. This holds 1 liter and it's the size of your head and it's really heavy and it's kind of slippery. You might fall out of your hand at one point and it's kind of an ugly color. But yeah, we made you that cup and you said you wanted the cup, right? So here it is. And then that's when everybody at a company shrugs their shoulders and says, we built what people wanted. They said they wanted the cup. So I think that it's not that people lie to us. I think people tell us the best version of the truth they can, but we don't know what they're imagining when we ask them some of these bad research questions. Also, there's the possibility that people are saying, yes, sure, I'd be interested in that. Yes, I'd buy it. Yes, I'd pay for it. To be polite, to be non-confrontational. Most people are non-confrontational. Most people are conflict avoiders, and that's totally normal. And so I don't want us to imagine that people lie to us, but I do want us to remember that we'll do better in our research to observe people versus ask them questions or ask them to diary or document their steps. Seth says, sounds like he's frustrated with NPS. Yeah, I don't know. NPS is so wacky. Don't even want to get started on NPS. All right. Okay, the last one. I think this is our last one for today. Someone sent me what appears to be an academic paper. I was very grateful that this one was 4 pages long because the last time somebody sent me like this, it was 92 pages long and I didn't read it. This time, I got it a few days ahead, so I did skim it. Now, let's just say I've never seen this paper before. I don't know the author of this paper. I don't know under what context the paper was written. I don't know if this is a master's or doctoral dissertation. Like, I didn't dig into why was this person writing this paper. But what I came away asking myself was, what is this? So this person says like motivation and well-being are contingent on the satisfaction of basic psychological needs. These can predict outcomes such as positive health or educational outcomes. These are validated cross-culturally. So it sounds like so far they're just citing other people's work. But the basic psychological needs are rarely considered within technology developments. Now, I always thought the 3 basic needs, well, I guess the 3 physical needs were food, shelter, and something. Remember? Clothing optional. And so it looks like they're proposing some sort of model about basic psychological needs in digital well-being and UX, which they're calling motivation, engagement, and thriving in user experience, and that this will integrate 6 spheres of user experience, and that this is some sort of workshop. And then it says, so the 3 human psychological well-being needs are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And that we're going to need to look at this through 5 spheres: adoption, interface, task, behavior, and life, and maybe operating within the 6th of society. And then there's an interface, and then there's a task, and then there's a behavior, and then there's life, and then there's conclusions. And I was like, oh, I clearly did not understand this. I didn't understand this. Seth says, what are these 6 spheres of UX? I'm intrigued. I don't know. I think they're adoption, interface, task, behavior, life, and society. Kayleen says, basically, psychological needs is part of self-determination theory supported by our Loomis. I know, I saw that too, Kayleen. It said part of self-determination. I said, oh, Kayleen and her self-determination theory. Yeah, I couldn't tell what this paper was really about, and I couldn't tell if this paper was just recycling existing things or trying to imagine it was delivering something new. But then I realized I didn't know what to do about it, because they're saying these spheres of influence are from somebody else, and the person writing the paper didn't come up with autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And so They're saying applying this framework or model to a fitness app. The fitness app will have an interface. Poor usability will cause frustration. The technology will enable tasks. A task questionnaire could isolate tasks. The tasks enable behavior. I feel like I'm reading a patent for like how to drink water out of a cup. Like I don't understand what this is explaining or inventing or reinventing or repackaging. I really don't know what to do after reading this. That's the whole thing. Y'all know I always say meaningful, actionable, helpful. I felt like I didn't really understand the meaning here, especially since, as Kayleen pointed out, self-determination theory already exists and is a good model and concept. Spheres of user experience already exists. Human psychological well-being in 3 key constructs already exists. So I couldn't tell what was going on here, and then all of a sudden it was over. I think it's just an academicing of what good UX is, says Kayleen. Seth says, are they trying to invent the wheel that is designing for behavior change? And Madalena says, of course, it's an app. Within the next decade, it will be a consumer expectation and digital right that technologies respect psychological health. The concern over unwanted and intrusive impact will continue to grow until there is change, inevitable backlash. I don't know. I feel like this just became a social justice moment because we've been fighting the psychological health effects of bad websites and apps and dark patterns and unethical companies for a very long time. We keep saying inevitable backlash, but where is it? It's not very evitable. Kayla says, is this word soup? Yeah, I felt a little word soupy, or I felt like it's just these 6 people remixed and remastered. So apologies if the person who wrote this sent this in, but I have to admit I don't get this. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it, for it, because of it. It makes me feel stupid because this is an academic paper and I want to imagine that I can understand an academic paper, but I don't get it. I don't know what to do because of this. So I'm lost. And that's it. Those are the things that we got today, everybody. I can put comments back on the screen. So yeah, that's how that went. Just looking at our schedule, remember Monday is supposed to be Think Out Loud, and no one has sent me something to design. So please remember, if there's something new you'd like me to start designing out loud, we have a link on deltacx.com/links, which will take you to submit something for the Think Out Loud shows. Some people have sent in things that weren't viable. I'm sorry, but if you can send in something that's viable, especially something that's more design than research, that would be great, and I can just do my best at designing it. So otherwise, if we don't have that, Monday is going to be more good and bad UX, snooping around people's websites, because that seemed to be fun and informative. But I would love to be designing something again and helping to teach all of you design in action. Itan says, that was fun. See you in a bit. Yes, Itan's my next call, so catch you in 25 minutes. What else? Oh, yeah. And then Tuesday is double office hours, 10 a.m. Italy time and 6:30 p.m. Italy time. Next Wednesday, I'm going to be reading my new article on real lean versus fake lean. Curious to see what people think there. Friday reaction stream, and Sunday the 20th, Slack monthly networking. If you would like to join our Slack channel and join our video networking, where sometimes we talk about UX and sometimes we talk about helicopters, you can just visit deltacx.com/links, and the Slack channel is totally free. So there. That's it. So I don't have a lot of shows planned for this month. I am just drowning in trying to get ready for the Interaction 22 Transforming Towards Customer Centricity 4-hour workshop. That is not free, so you will definitely want to pay for that. I don't control what that costs. And so, but please send your manager and your manager's manager and the manager's manager. Take care, Kayla. So I guess I will play us out of here. Thanks to people who sent things in. Again, if you would like to send things in and have me react to them, you can always find the link at deltacx.com/links. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy Friday reaction streams. Tell 3 people. Well, we want to grow the channel big this year, and not because I bought followers. I want to grow it because you told 3 people. So let's do that. Alrighty. Seth says, oh, we'll put it up on the screen because I'm practicing here. Take care, Debbie and low ego action heroes. And Ludipta says, see y'all. Ludipta, I hope you're feeling better. And everybody have a good weekend, a safe weekend. So many people are still getting COVID. Please be careful and wear 17 masks. And I will see you all soon. Thanks. Bye. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are